In this Excelym.io how-to video, I'm going to show you how to integrate Salesforce with NetSuite using Excelym.io. I'll walk you through each step of the basic process of controlling and managing an SFNS integration. We will cover the following: how to configure the Salesforce and NetSuite data objects, how to edit the mapped data fields between the two applications, how to schedule and run an integration, viewing integration results in both Salesforce and NetSuite, as well as monitor and correct error records. If you noticed, we are already skipping the actual integration setup. This is because the heavy work will have already been completed by the time we give an Excelym.io user credential. The process that we will cover in this video presupposes that you've already gone through the business process consulting, integration designing, and data mapping exercises. This video will only showcase a high-level overview of the process, with some specific tips along the way. If you need more detailed instructions, please refer to our documentation or contact our sales team. Now let's get started. Our user interface is very simple and straightforward. The modules are arranged on the menu bar from left to right in their organic or natural sequence, from the full integration setup module, the integrations module, the schedule module, which defines when the programmed integration will run, the job queues module, which allows users to view the integration queue or what integration tasks are to be executed next, the message queues module, or the job task results lane, programmed to give the simplest and most accurate information or description of a completed record or integration error in the platform. And, lastly, the maintenance module, which gives users a peek of what has been set up in the backend by the Excelym.io technical/development team. Additionally, the arrangement of the module selections is based on what the users will most likely go to first when logging into their Excelym.io end-user accounts. Dashboard. When logging into your Excelym.io instance, the dashboard is always displayed first to serve as your home page, which mainly consists of integration tasks summary, statistics and graph. To make sense of this data, let's head on to the integrations module. Integrations. The first thing you will see when you open the integrations page is the list of predefined integrations based on your integration requirements. You will see entries of active integrations described in detail of what particular data objects are being integrated. Like I said in the beginning of this video, end users no longer need to set up the technicals of the integration, as all the heavy work has already been done by the development team by the time the end user credential becomes available. Now let's head on to the integration's data object properties. Users have the option to click on each integration entry found on the main integration module screen. The integration expressly shows the data objects integrated for convenient identification and distinction. This leads users to see particularly what is being integrated, example, the data object from the source to the receiving system. The integration description. Should you wish to be more detailed, or you may want to add some information that your users have to know whenever they reconfigure the settings. You also have visibility into who created the integration and when it was created and updated. You notice that there is also an API handler right here indicated. It's a script made by our development team to pull or push data from one system to another or vice versa. Moreover, everything here is grayed out, meaning, only a super administrator access can alter the fields. Moving on, after I've clicked the integration entry, the screen will turn to the field mapping tab of the data object properties/fields. From here, users can control what specific data object properties/fields are being integrated. From this illustration, you can see what goes from and to and how the relayed data is treated by the destination system once it gets there. Like I said, there is more to the visibility feature because users can actually modify the integration fields and apply data validation rules. Let's examine the rules. Default data value. This rule helps if you want, let's say, to automatically reflect a standard or default data value of a data object property, a billing city, for example, in System 2 when the same object property is left blank or with no value in System 1, the data source. Data type, whether it's entity ID, primary ID, text, value, or secondary ID. Users even have the option to set the maximum number of characters in each field of the data sources. Update is the integration flag/switch within each data object's properties. If checked, the field will be changed upon record update, or, if unchecked, the field will remain unchanged upon record update. Mandatory: if this checkbox is ticked, it will be mandatory for a data object field in System 1 to have a data value. Otherwise, the integration will error out or fail. Allow null: this function will set the value on the destination system to null if the field is empty from the source system. We now turn to the second tab of the Data Object Properties of the Integrations module, the Schedule tab. This allows the user to view the integration schedule rules as well as modify them. Users can change the frequency, start time, day of integration, queue number. More of this will be discussed later in this presentation. Remember that the schedule rules on this screen pertains to the schedule of a specific data object property and not that of the whole data object. This is the main schedule module. This provides full visibility of the schedule rules of all the active integrations or integration processes. This module allows users to define the integration schedule for every integration, as all can be seen on one screen. There is also the active switch function. This switches whether or not the defined integration schedule will apply in a specific integration. If the active switch is off, then the integration can only be triggered manually using the manual execute or run the integration task button under the integrations module. In contrast with the same active switch found in the integrations module, the schedule active switch only switches the schedule function as against the integration active switch, which completely turns on/off the integration process. Job queues. This module shows the summary of integration tasks running. The details are complete from the task, or the integration name. This is kind of a log of all tasks running, meaning integrations running, whether automatic, scheduled, or manual. The job started shows when the integration was set to commence or switch. The job ended shows when the integration ended, more of like a record of every task running as earlier explained. It also shows the duration, process status, and queue number. More importantly, users can filter for specific tasks if they are looking for a particular integration log. Further, users can view the job queue details of that particular task, even the SQL query. Message queues. This module allows users to view the log records that went through Excelym.io or the data extracted or transformed using our integration platform. Users can see the source ID, example, the internal ID of the field from the source system, target ID, example, the internal ID of the field from the target/destination system, status, example, extracted, transformed, published, completed, failed, remarks, example, this shows a user-friendly instruction on the cause of the error, and last modified, example, when the record was last modified. Users can also see what we call raw data, whether it is simply extracted or transformed, its corresponding remarks, as well as the audit or the complete details of the executed query functions. Maintenance. This shows the backend setup options of the integration. Most of the fields are already predefined, so end users don't really have to delve into this module. Providers displays the list of platforms, example, applications, software systems. Connections shows the list of connections for every platform. This shows the API tokens of each system. Data sources shows the list of all the data objects. There is also an active switch function. When the switch is off, users won't be able to see the data object under the integrations module. However, users cannot alter the switch if there is a running or scheduled integration. And that ends our Excelym.io user walkthrough video with a Salesforce and NetSuite integration as an example. For questions or feedback, or to learn more about our other NetSuite connectors, Contact us at info@excelym.com.